Hello, Gemini. I feel like I'm really close to the camera, but I've got good light, so you can see me. My readings are always so dark. Okay. Clicked on this reading, obviously, for some reason. I hope something comes out of it for you. All right. Here we go, Gemini, for those who need it. Okay, we got Lover, King of Flames, Work, and Shark. So right away I feel like, the morning message today was all about masculine energy. And I said to myself, man, it'd be really nice to bring in a feminine energy. And I kind of feel like this is what this is. I mean, I just said it to myself. I didn't say it as like a part of the reading or anything. I just said, well, it'd be nice if a feminine reading came out because a masculine reading came out. And the way that I'm getting this is I feel like somebody is working really hard, okay, to uncover what they love. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Because somebody... making a date for something that they love, that they're working towards. Okay, give me this Knight of Flames, please, this Lover. Okay, I can't help but notice, okay, have you seen the new It? It's not really it's not new, but it's the newer version of It. It's not the 1980 movie version I'm talking about. So that, in that version, right, the newer one, the kid, they write loser, like that girl writes loser on his cast, and then he changes it, he puts a V in there and changes it from loser to lover. For some reason I'm getting that. And that movie, where It's house is, right, in the movie, that's actually like where I grew up. That part of the film where It's house is filmed in Oshawa, and Oshawa is a town that I grew up in Ontario, Canada. And I walked those streets many times. It's in like the center of Oshawa. Like it's in like the heart of Oshawa. For some reason it's coming up right now. Like I haven't thought of that movie. I own it. I don't really watch it, but I feel like I bought it because I don't live in my hometown anymore. I moved away, and this was the first time I think I've ever moved away for this long. Like I've been away now for over 2 years. I haven't been back to my hometown. I'm like really far away. It's not like I can just take a day trip and like go home. Like I can't. I'm nowhere near it. But the whole loser lover, and then the depths below us can begin to scare us, when does it stop? So like these are my cards. So I really break them down because I did them. So I can say whatever I want about them. But what this shark is coming up with, which is what you can learn to do with tarot, with your own messages. When you think of a shark, okay, when you think of Jaws, automatically that theme song comes in, that dunna 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 dunna, right? If you think about it, like if you're swimming out in the ocean, just minding your own business, okay, and it's choppy, you can't see through the water, and you start going, man, there could be something down there. Like, and then if you feed off that, then you start freaking yourself out and panicking, right? Because then you've almost convinced yourself, because it's easy to keep the threat of fear closed, right? And never let it dawn on you that you could get hurt doing something, right? And this brings me to this interview that I watched with this guy. I'm not going to say his name. I don't like to do that. But the way that he described his near-death experiences was, he was saying that he was putting himself in harm's way by surfing. He knew and knows every time he goes surfing that there's a huge possibility that he could get attacked. And the way that he described that fear of going surfing every day, and I think he was hoping to get eaten by a shark. That's the way that this interview was going. And then he spoke about his best friend in the sense of driving his Mercedes at like 120 clicks an hour right into steel door gates. So he goes, what's the difference of somebody taking their life in their hands like that and getting under the influence behind a wheel in a car and driving 100 kilometers into dead weight, like literally into metal gates, or risking your life every day going surfing. I think the whole point of that was to say that he lived off the thrill of that fear of never knowing if there was something underneath him that was going to get him, because he's kind of untouchable, right? Like these people that you see in interviews, I mean, a lot of them, they really feel like they're untouchable. Like if they are on any type of platform and people know them, then automatically they seem like they're important. When just because you have a platform, just because you have fans, doesn't mean you're important. What you're doing with that platform is what's supposed to be important, not so much the person themselves, right? So the way that I see this is, somebody has been working really hard on what they love, as opposed to wondering how deep their fears can go and how much they can make themselves panic. It's like working your way out of that and no longer allowing yourself to make that fear come alive, because you're the one that brings the fear alive. Like, there's always a lingering fear in anything that can be done, because fear is wisdom, right? Fear is something you need to look at in the eye of danger. Fear allows you to take notice that something could take your life, right? That something could hurt you, right? Dismember you. Do something like that. So I almost feel like somebody's working really hard to stop leading with what scares you and start working with what drives you and what you love. So we got 3 Pentacles and we got the Emperor. But we got the Emperor in reverse. So I feel like somebody's, again, this is about work, right? 3 of Pentacles is about working hard. So I feel like this is the work that's being involved, is some type of instability, right? And you could be putting yourself in a position, in a very foreign position, and it's scary because you've never been in this position before. So you don't know how deep the fear can go. You don't know where the threats are, right? Somebody's not at home. Somebody's maybe not with their kids, not at home, not on their land, not at their house. Like you may not own anything, so you don't feel stable. And these cards are really making me fight to find out where they land, because I'm pretty sure that was, pretty sure that was 2 cards that went down. But, oh well. Okay, 10 of Pentacles. Now we got that one in reverse. I hope I'm not, these cards are kind of coming out fuzzy, so I don't know if, yeah, my camera, it might have been fuzzy. I apologize if it was. It's hard to see because of the light coming in right now. So the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, like you could have lost something. This Emperor could have lost their 10 of Pentacles. So their freedom to make money on their own. Like you could have had a home business or something that you do independently, or you started like with a spouse and you can't do it anymore. A lot of people use their home as like a base camp to make money, right? Like if you work online, or if you work writing, you could be a writer. And you had to leave like your whole office and everything behind. And that instability is what's made you work for what you love, minus work because you're scared. Now I'm getting this OMG song by Joey Oz, One Man Gang. Oh my God. Maybe it's like, because now I can also hear like Slain, Do What You Love in the background. So, like, if there's something, that's the thing, is if you're looking at changing something or like changing your life, you have to think practically on the impractical of the in-between when you don't know what's going to happen. So like if you want to work at home, or you want to get back to working at home, or getting your office back, then the fear of the everyday job, you just have to do to keep everything floating, and the job that you really love on the side, right? It's like a side hustle. It's like, I almost feel like somebody has to work. Okay. They have to work hard because of what was taken from them. But I think you're actually also going to realize that you may not need as much money or as much work as what you have been doing, right? Work smart, not hard. Leave the hard work for the idiots that hate themselves. Yeah, there's like some type of anxiety going on with this 10 of Pentacles. Ooh, there's the Knight of Cups. Okay, so the Knight of Flames and the Knight of Cups. So I really feel like you got to get yourself out of this anxiety. Like someone's got lots of anxiety, and that anxiety might come at night, right? Because it's always when you don't, I feel like anxiety comes and stems at the most peak at the times where you cannot do anything. So it's like on the weekend, at night after 6 o'clock. Like how can you work? How can you push yourself that hard in times where businesses have now closed, right? It's like work smarter about something. I feel like somebody's fear is just taking over, and their anxiety is just taking over because of what they've already lost. But you have to work harder than that to deliver yourself something that you truly love, right? Give yourself a new way. I really feel like find a new way to make money, like that you like, right, man? It doesn't have to be 70 grand a year. I feel like people, they need so much money, and it's just so unnecessary, right? If you just get the money under control, that's where a lot of it stems, because of what you already had. But if you were supposed to still have what you already had, then you'd still have it, but you don't, which means, God knocked you off your throne for a reason, right? So then it wasn't a good throne. It was a greedy man's throne. You probably would have ended up fat with absolutely no libido whatsoever, just eating your sorrows away. Like, ugh, who the hell wants that? Oh my gosh, on a regular basis, sometimes I just wish you didn't have to eat. I wish you could just get humans were born not having to eat. Wouldn't that have been so much easier? You can just plug in. Eating it takes up so much time and so much effort and so much money just for food. It's just ridiculous. And then people get obsessed with it, and fast food places are crazy because of the amount of people that crave that sodium and that plastic in their food. It's people get obsessed with treating themselves badly in order to make themselves feel good about a shitty situation, instead of changing the actual situation from the root up, right? It's so sad. Ooh, look at that on the top of the deck. That was nice. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but look at that on the top of the deck. Justice, 4 of Wands. It's balance the scales on your life. And balance those scales with your truth, and with your heart, and with your emotion, and not with anxiety. This anxiety's got to go. And I feel like you are going to be successful with it. I do. I feel like something maybe could have happened in Libra season 2 leading up until this point. But I do feel like you're going to be really successful on this new path of not giving a fuck. And I have to teach myself that too. I'm not worrying when there is no cause to worry at that moment. You can't worry all the time about stuff that is powerless in your grip at that moment. And this psychic, actually, she told me that. I went to a psychic fair one time to get a reading done, and this lady, she was an angelic reader. She called herself an angel. And she did this reading with me, and she could feel the anxiety inside of me. And this was years ago. This was almost 10 years ago now. And she goes, Whitney, it's Sunday. What do you expect to get done on Sunday? You got to wait until Monday. You have to give yourself some time off. You can't be worrying and being over compulsive about your life all the time. You have to allow yourself to relax. You've got too much stress. And even as a baby, I was stressed. I was actually born with gray hair. My mother tried to kill me in womb. I think a couple of times. And the last time she did it was, I believe, when my hair turned gray. And I've been stressed out since I was born. And that can happen with a lot of babies to parents who don't want them, right? The stress of their telepathy, when someone's talking in their head, because they've opened up that line of telepathy with their child, they can most likely still hear it as a baby, right? They're that open channel. And it's some people are so hard on themselves, and they don't know that's all you may have seen is your parents be hard on themselves, and then they're really hard on you. And when that time comes up, and you can either sit back and crack a cold one and just be thankful you're alive today, or be extra hard on yourself and hate yourself and beat yourself up for another few more hours and then go to bed. I mean, which one's loving and which one's, passive aggressive controlling, right? So I feel like someone's got to find a way to work with themselves better outside of this family tree, outside of this family dynamic of one needs to worry all the time. I mean, even if you have kids and you're not around them, you can't worry about those kids 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, unless you want to be the spy around the corner that's watching them, right? You have to give yourself some type of room to breathe and calm down and ground yourself. And it takes a long time. It's not easy to do. But if you work on it every day, you work on those panic attacks, you work on that anxiety, you stay in bed when normally you would get up and pace the house, grab something to eat if you can't sleep at night, right? Sometimes sleeping on an empty stomach is the worst thing. I mean, I went to a drugstore one time and I was trying to find the best over-the-counter sleep medication because I couldn't sleep. And this old black wisdom lady, of course, was standing beside me. She worked there. She was stocking shelves. And I go, hey, do you know which one of these over-the-counter things is the best to help me sleep? She goes, you know what the best things to do is? She goes, when my kids can't sleep, she goes, they come to my house, I feed them, they fall asleep like babies. I think her kids were all in college or university at the time, so they were really stressed. So she took what I said really seriously because clearly her kids were having problems sleeping. And she's like, I feed them. And you'd be amazed at how good a full stomach can make you feel. Even before bed. If you have to eat just to put yourself out, I mean, I think people have to be a lot lighter on themselves and a lot gentler on themselves and find, leave that fear at the door and work on what they can work on when they can work on it. And when they have to shut the door, shut the door. You can't work on yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's impossible. You have to rest. And especially with this might not, this work might not even be physical work as in making money. This could just be the work that you need to do to get yourself to a better place. So, Gemini, I hope this helps. See you later.